Thanks for being here, ladies. So here is what's happening today. So we are back to kind of the fundamentals of yoga, just the foundational things. So today we're going to be focused on breath as well as some core strengthening. So we will start on our backs. You need, before you get there too, I can go grab these for you. We're going to need, you guys just stay right there. A strap. I'll get this for you. I'm surprised. Yeah, I was going to say that you don't have one, but all right. So a couple of blocks, a strap, and a bolster, and you guys are all set. So we'll start off here with a couple of really, really big breaths. So as you're settling in, just kind of move around the way that you need to move around and really find where you can relax. And then we'll take a couple of breaths together. So these breaths will be in through the nose, we'll sigh out through the mouth. Take a deep breath in. Big exhale. One more inhale. And exhale. And now seal up your lips. But maybe you can still hear the sound as the breath travels in and out. So that is creating a slight constriction in your throat to make that happen. And when we do that sound audibly, that creates that constriction. So if you think about that as you're breathing in and out, that slight constriction through the throat, that allows for what's called an ujjayi breath in Sanskrit. And what that does is warms the breath, helps to warm the breath as it flows in to begin to warm up through the body. It also allows for more focus on the breath. So if you can hear your breath as well as feel it, maybe the focus can remain on the breath a little longer. So let's stay here a few more rounds of breath. Now for your next couple of breaths, place one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. And feel the breath moving deep into the belly. So try to quiet the hand that's to the heart. When we find ourselves in stressful situations, we may be breathing more through the shoulders and the neck, more through the chest. So when we practice yoga, we want to focus on breathing deep into the belly so that it maybe wires in that deep belly breath when we are off the mat as well. When we breathe up into the shoulders and neck, that just creates tension in the shoulders and neck. Those deep belly breaths are what allow for a little less stress, actually no stress through the shoulders and neck, and really can allow for a quieting of the body. All right, now from here, begin to move the way your body needs you to move. So maybe if you're on your bolster, if you'll remove that bolster from underneath you to start. And then from there, maybe you stretch out long, fingertips and toes reaching in opposite directions. Another option would be to hug the knees into the chest. You could also set the soles of the feet to the floor and let the knees windshield wiper from side to side. So finding, again, movement here that feels really good to start things off for you. So we will focus on core strengthening. Let's just start things off we'll knock some of this out right away. From on your back, set the soles of the feet to your mat. Bring them close into the bottom, feet parallel with the sides of your mat. Arms alongside you, palms down. We'll press the lower back to the mat. Begin to peel one vertebra up off the mat. You're bridging up to the shoulders. Once you bridge up, you'll bridge right back down. Now be real mindful of that articulation through the spine so that you really focus, or you are working the core by just doing this slow bridge up, slow bridge down. So continue to bridge up, bridge down, but move with intention. Slowly down, slowly back up. The next time you find yourself up in your bridge, let's pause right there. The soles of the feet, if you'll connect fully through the soles of the feet, pressing through all four corners of your feet, feel the back side of the body engage. So this is core strengthening through the back side of the body. You may predominantly feel it in the glutes and the legs. So now begin to do a little bit of movement through the feet so that maybe you turn the toes out toward the corners of the mat. Maybe you bring the weight into the balls of the feet. Maybe you bring it into the heels. See what other sensations you can find through the back side of the body as you make those changes. Chin away from the chest, long neck. Breathe one more breath in your bridge pose with whatever shape you want to create. And then slowly begin to bridge down, one vertebra at a time. Hug your knees into your chest. Maybe rock a little side to side here, massage through the back. So we strengthen through the back side of the body. We'll strengthen here through the front side of the body. And we're going to do a couple of things with this. If you'll grab one of your blocks and send it up in the air so that the arms are up over the shoulders, you're pushing your hands into your block. So feel the engagement through the upper body. Your knees are stacked over your hips, shins parallel with the floor. Push your lower back into the mat. Feel the abdominal engagement. And from here, we are tapping the right and left toes to the mat. So you're alternating right toes down, left toes down. A couple of things can happen here. Of course, you can stay, but you could also add a little bit more intensity by bringing both feet down, tapping both toes at the same time, or both feet at the same time. The key here is to not let that lower back come up off the mat. One last thing to add a little bit more is to lift the upper body up off the mat. So you decide here where you want to go with this. Yep. So you're pushing into the sides of the block with your hands. So these hands are to the outsides of the block. Yes, good. And then you're pushing into that block with your hands. The legs are moving. The core is engaged. Pressing the lower back to the mat. Do a couple more here. So nice, ladies. Once you've wrapped up those two, release your block to the floor and hug your knees back into your chest. All right, we are rocking and rolling up to seated. We'll come right on over to an all fours position. All right, in your all fours position, hands line up underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. On your inhale, find a cow pose. The tailbone comes up, the chin comes up. As you exhale, round out through the spine, tuck the chin in and tailbone under. One more round like that. Inhaling, finding your cow pose, tailbone up, chin up, so nice. As you exhale, find your cat round. Now return to a flat back, and we'll take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, you'll lift your feet up and angle them over to that left side and look over your left shoulder. So a lateral stretch for that right side. Return to center, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, the feet angle over to that right side, you'll look over your right shoulder. Yep, you got it. Come back to center, one more time each way over to the left. Turn and look over your left shoulder. Center, and last time to your right. Come back to center, press back, extended child's pose. Arms stretched out in front with either palms down, or you can rotate your palms to face up. If you'd like to add a little movement here, maybe a little rock through the hips or a massage through the forehead. If the forehead reaches the floor, you can roll the head from side to side. Of course, a reminder, at any point during our practice, you are welcome to find this pose. Make your way back to all fours. And let's do just a little bit more core strengthening here. Before we begin to move, you've got this all four shape. We're going to take a deep breath in, and as you inhale, just let your belly relax. As you exhale, draw the belly in, push a little extra air out. Feel a slight abdominal engagement. And then see here if you can keep that abdominal engagement and find a breath moving all around. So moving through the side ribs, moving through the back side of the body. All right, so that remains important throughout the class. And really, as you bring yourself off the mat, bring your right fingertips to the back of the head. You are rotating out to the right side. Yep, beautiful. And then come back to center. 3 more just like that. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, you're twisting to the right. Beautiful. Come back to center. 2 more. Twist to the right. Come back to center. And last one. Come back to center. Set your right hand to the floor, left fingertips to the back of the head. Let's go right for this left side 4 times. You're rotating out to the left. Come back to center. 3 more. Deep breath in. Exhaling to twist. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale to twist. Inhale, center. And last time you're exhaling out to the left. Come back to center. Set the left hand to the mat. Curl the toes under. Walk your hands and your feet together. Let's pause here in a standing forward bend. All right, just let yourself relax. So we practiced quite a bit there to strengthen through the core in multiple ways. Through the back side of the body, to the front side of the body, and then we did a little extra for the sides of the body, the obliques. Now is a time to just relax. So the legs remain active, but the upper body is passive. So notice if you're trying to hold your head, neck, shoulders up, just relax. Breathe 1 more full breath here. Good. And then we are slowly rising up to stand. If you need support, place your hands to your thighs. Come all the way up. Good. Once you arrive all the way up, move to the front end of the mat, but bring your blocks. We won't need them quite yet, but they'll be just set up for when we do need them. All right, so at the front end of the mat, feet hip bone width apart. Let's inhale, sweep your arms up. As you exhale, back bend, open up through the front body. Inhale, lengthen up, swan dive forward as you exhale. Inhale, half lift. Feel free to airplane wing the arms, externally rotating through the shoulders, and then dive yourself forward. Step back to a plank pose, the top of a push-up. Feel free to drop the knees here if you'd like to modify. Let's take that big deep breath in again. So let your belly relax on the inhale. As you exhale, draw the belly in, push a little extra air out, abdominal engagement. Breathe one more breath here, letting the breath move in all directions with that slight abdominal engagement. Beautiful. We will lower all the way down to the mat, all the way down onto your stomach. Good. On your inhale, peel the front of the body up. Let's float the hands. Exhale to lower down. Good. One more like that. Inhale, peel the front of the body up. Float your hands. And exhale to lower down. Now, before we move into this next round, let's tuck the bottom under. So think of your tailbone being pulled toward the wall behind you. And then try, it's like you have a blueberry underneath your belly button, and you're trying to not squish that blueberry. So abdominal engagement here. Let's once again, so keep that all going on as you lift up for your cobra. And this time we're going to actually send the arms back like airplane wings. You could lift your legs up off the floor as well. One more option is to grab one of those blocks and send the block back behind you. Completely optional here. So the additional things we added on were the legs up, that block. You don't need to do any of that. Try to keep the head nice and long, or the spine nice and long. So if you're looking way out in front, try and find just a soft gaze in front of you. All right, and then let's lower all the way down to the mat. Make a pillow for your head. Let's windshield wiper the legs. Good. Send your legs long. Let your hands return to the mat and send them back slightly from underneath the shoulders, elbows pointed back. Push up to a modified plank pose and push back to your down dog, your first one of class. So take a little time here to maybe pedal out the feet, dropping one heel toward the floor at a time. You could also drop your heels toward one long edge of the mat, come back to center, drop the heels toward that opposite side of the mat. Good. We'll pause here one more full breath. So if again, any movement feels right, feel free to do that. All right. From your down dog, let's inhale the right leg up. Exhale to bring your knee in and step the foot through. So give yourself a little assist if you need to bring that right foot up so that the knee and ankle are aligned. We're dropping that left knee underneath the left hip. And let's grab a block. We are coming up here. You just need one. You could keep those left toes curled under if you'd like. So again, we're going to work a little here on core, and this is mobility work as well. So the block is stretched out in front. We are twisting to the right. Yes, so nice, ladies. Come back to center. Good. Two more like that. You're twisting to your right. Good. And come back to center. And last one here. Twist to your right. Come back to center. Good. Now we'll let the block come back to the mat. And now maybe both blocks will be helpful to you. We'll lift the left knee up off the mat. Again here, knee and ankle are aligned. You can bring that knee more over the toes if it feels all right on your knee and it feels all right to do that. So really deciding whether or not that is something that works for you. But try and let the hips sink and find an opening through the front of your left hip. So that's what we're focused on here, front of left hip. And then we'll slowly begin to straighten out through that right leg. This is where blocks, again, could be elevated to a higher spot if that works better for you. And then again, you're returning to a lunge in that right knee. Just one more time, we're going to straighten out through that right leg. Good. Now return to your bent knee. Make sure your feet are hip bone width apart, rising up to a crescent lunge here. All right, so we're going to do a little more with mobility here. So you're up on your back toes. You could bend that back knee just a little bit, tuck the bottom under, gives you a little bit more stability, and maybe helps to open up that left hip flexor a little bit more. All right, so right here, let's bring the arms into goalpost position. You'll keep your elbows at shoulder height, and you're just rotating the arms so that the palms face back and then come back to where you started. So little rotator cuff mobility. We're going to do a couple more rounds. You're rotating back, bring the arms back to where you started. Good, 2 more like that. And up. Now this time we'll rotate down and we'll hold. Good, so try to keep those elbows up at shoulder height. Just pause right here. Good, send your arms back up into the air. Good, bring your hands to your heart. Do a hinge forward of the body, and we'll rotate to the right. All right, so we're working this right leg a lot. If it's feeling like you need a little bit less, feel free to bring that left hand to the floor and right arm up into the air. Good, you could use your block here for a little support. Yep. If you would like to keep it core strength, you could stay elevated. You could also bring that left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Hold here, 1 more breath. Good, now hands down on your blocks. Oh, can you guys feel that in your right hip? Mm-hmm. All right, let's straighten out through that right leg. Send your left leg up into the air. So now we are focused more on hamstring opening through that right leg. If you're okay here, just stay with the chest facing down. If you'd like to add a revolved half moon pose, the right arm will go up into the air. Completely optional. Good. All right, your left foot will come in to join your right foot, and you'll roll up. Yes. Shake out whatever you might need to shake out on that right side. So we'll continue on. And this time we're actually going to change up yes, that's good. Yes. I know. Beach party. Yes. All right. Other side. Here we go. Inhale, sweep your arms up. We'll make a little change here. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, lengthen up. This time, bring the fingertips to the back of the head, soft knees. Hinge your body forward from the hip. Lead with your heart. Try to keep your elbows back and find core engagement here. If you're okay, just stay. If you'd like to add a little bit more, the arms go straight out in front. Again, soft knees. Just notice if you send the arms out, how the core needs to work a little bit more in order to hold you here. Good, now dive yourself fully forward. Step back to a plank pose, and you can decide what your flow looks like. Maybe you move right from plank to down dog. Maybe you add a child's pose in. Maybe you do a chaturanga, find a back bend, and then move to down dog. That'll be your choice. We'll meet up in down dog. Good. You're inhaling the left leg up when you're ready. Exhale, knee in and step through. Again, giving yourself an assist to make sure the knee and the ankle are aligned just for right now. You'll drop your right knee underneath that right hip. Maybe keeping those right toes curled under. We're grabbing a block. All right, so find your stability here. Find a core engagement as we are twisting now to the left. And we'll come back to center. Deep breath in here, exhaling, twist to your left. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist to your left. Come back to center. Good, and then let that block come to the floor. All right, you're lifting your right knee up off the mat. And again, maybe finding a little more space here. We're going to try and open up through that the front of the right hip. So sinking the hips down, opening up through, broadening through the collarbone. We'll straighten out through that left leg. Be gentle here. This is a hamstring stretch. It's pretty intense, so find where you need to be. Yep, beautiful. Return to the lunge. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, straighten out through the leg and fold. Good. Now return to the bent knee and maybe bringing that back foot in just a little bit. We are rising up to a crescent lunge. So come on up. Good. All right. So again, maybe bending that back knee just a little bit. We're going to do a little bit more for shoulder mobility. So right here, whoopsie, we're going to bring the arms around and then you'll rotate so that the palms will face out. You tap to the mid part of the back or the lower part of the back, and then it'll return to where we started. Just a couple more like that. So you're bringing the arms around, tapping to the lower part of the back. Come back up. And one more time here. Good. And then come back up. Bring your hands to your heart. Do a hinge forward of your body and rotate to the left. Now you can choose to stay elevated. You could bring that right hand to the floor, to the block. You could bring your right elbow to the outside part of the left knee. Good. Lengthen out through the crown of the head. Reach back through that right leg. Good. Breathe. One more full breath here. Good. Now, hands come to your blocks. We'll walk those blocks forward. We'll lift the right leg up into the air. Maybe you stay right here. Maybe you add a twist and a balance by sending the left arm up into the air. You choose. That right leg, though, regardless of what you choose, should be strong and straight, pushing the sole of the foot toward the wall behind you, like you're putting a stamp on that wall behind you. Here's a change from the last round. We're going to return to a lunge, and this time we'll step the left knee back to join the right, find a down dog. Choose here whatever feels good. So maybe walking the dog would feel good here. Maybe dropping to the knees and rolling through that right hip would feel good. We'll take a couple of breaths to reset. Whether you reset in down dog or child's pose, that will be up to you. So in that series, we opened through the front and the back of the hips. Now we're going to focus on the sides of the hips, the inner and outer thigh, and this is where that strap will come into play. So if you'll bring that strap so that it's close to you at the front end of the mat, we'll move into a one-legged pigeon pose. So you can choose to do that from either down dog or all fours. We'll inhale the right leg up. Again, you could be in an all fours position here and just do a few circles through that right hip. See what you can find there, what's going on. And then look to the backside of your right wrist. That's where you're going to gently drop your knee. The left leg will be straight back behind you. Good. So that right knee is behind the right wrist. Your right foot is maybe angled over toward the left long edge of your mat. Maybe not. Maybe it's more toward the midline. But eventually you might be able to get some more width between the knee and the foot to opposite ends of the mat. All right, we are folding forward from here. So keep the spine long. A block may be helpful to you here. Setting the forehead on the block will allow for that spinal alignment. Good, and then just breathe here. The shoulders are relaxed. The hands are relaxed. Soften the space between your eyebrows. Soften your jaw. We have 2 more breaths here. With these last couple of breaths, see if you can relax even more into this pose. Perfect. Now we are slowly walking ourselves back up. So my back's going to be to you for just a second. We are sitting down onto our right hip. Your left leg is straight and angled toward that bottom corner of your mat. This is where a strap may be helpful to you. So if you want to grab your strap and place it under the ball mount of your left foot, you can grab that strap with just your left hand and see if you can find a little leverage of that left arm to the inside part of your left leg. With that leverage, try and rotate your body up toward the ceiling, and maybe then that right arm comes up and over. Maybe the right fingertips land to the back of the head. Maybe the right arm goes behind your back. Beautiful. Slowly rise up out of this. Release your strap. Set your right hand to the floor. Lift your hips up into the air. Maybe that left arm goes long alongside the head. So this is a very gentle way of stretching through that left side, kind of a counter pose. If you'd like to make this a little more active and find a little more core strengthening, you could scissor the feet below. Good. Yep, beautiful. One more breath. All right, make your way back to either all fours or down dog. And let's prepare for the left side, one-legged pigeon pose. So again, maybe you start off on all fours or again, down dog, but try and do a little bit of movement through that left hip and notice what's going on there. So a few circles. They don't need to be rushed. Try to find that range of motion, full range of motion. And then look behind your left wrist. We are dropping the left knee in behind the left wrist. Maybe left foot over toward that right long edge of your mat. Your right leg should be straight back behind you. Sometimes I curl the toes under, lift that knee up, and draw the hips back a little bit, and then release down. So you could play with that as well. Walking forward when you're ready. Again, try to keep that spine aligned, maybe using your block for your forehead, maybe doing a little Thai massage, bringing the thumbs into key pressure points along the eye socket. Two more breaths here. These last couple of breaths, particularly the exhales, softening down even further, even deeper into this pose. Slowly begin to walk yourself back up. Sit down onto your left hip. Your right leg is long, angled down toward the bottom corner of your mat, the sole of the left foot toward the inside part of that right leg. The right foot will have the strap, so you can let it land underneath the ball mount of the foot, kind of pushing through the strap. Right hand has the strap. Maybe right arm can be leveraged to the inside part of the right leg. And then you're rotating up toward the ceiling. Left arm maybe comes up and over. Know that you have those other options too, fingertips behind the head or left arm behind your back. Let's pause. And now slowly bring yourself back up. Release that strap. Your left hand is to the floor. So once you push yourself up, your left hand and left shoulder should be aligned, or you could have that left hand a little bit forward, but your left knee could stay to the mat. Right arm extends up and over. If you'd like to send the left leg long and do a little bit more active version here, feel free to do that. Breathe one more big breath in and out. Good, and then let's gently return to all fours. Curl the toes under. No, don't curl the toes under. Let's set the hips back to the mat. We are moving onto our back. So if you'd like to grab a block for an inversion, feel free to grab one of those before you lay all the way back. Once you land on your back, you will be on your own. So we practiced a bridge pose earlier together. You could do that again here and find a supported version of that with either the block aligned so that it fully supports the pelvis, or you could actually angle the block so that the long edges of your block mirror the long edges of your mat. So it's more like an extension of your spine that sometimes allows for the SI joint to release. So that might feel good, but there's so many other options. You decide here what feels really good for you. Good. Now we are gently going to remove the block from underneath. So push through the soles of the feet, slide the block out from underneath you, hug your knees into your chest. Send your arms out wide in the shape of a T. Shift your hips a little toward the right edge of your mat and gently drop your knees to the left side. Now your right knee can remain bent. You could send your right leg long if you'd like. You could also turn and look to your right. So if you decide to send that right leg long, you can angle it out toward the left side so that you are doing a little bit more, or maybe feeling a little bit more of that twist. It also might be too intense. So again, deciding here whether that's the best option for you. Let's hold on right here, another couple of breaths. Good. Slowly bring your knees back to center. Shift your hips a little toward the left edge of your mat, gently dropping your knees to the right. Whatever you did on that, with that top leg on that first side, you'll want to do that again here just to balance things out. So if you sent the leg long, feel free to do that. Now, I say that, and if it feels better on one side to do something different, by all means. There is likely some differences between our different sides, between the different joints. It's pretty common to have some areas a little tighter, just some things not the same, and that's why we practice, one of the reasons why we practice yoga, to try and get that balance. Slowly bring bent knees back to center. Find any other pose that you need, any other movement that you need before we move to final relaxation. So when you're ready to make your way to your final pose, feel free to make your way there. And one area that we didn't get a lot of that you may want to focus in on here is opening through the inner thighs. So if the soles of the feet together, knees out to the side, feels good for you, feel free to do that here. But you can also use that bolster to support your spine or just to support the legs by putting that underneath the knees. Let your focus return to your breath. And maybe you return to that ujjayi breath where you have that slight constriction through the throat. You can feel that sound. You can also hear it as the breath flows in and out. It doesn't have to be loud. Knowing that these last couple of minutes of time are still yours and they're incredibly important. It's a time that allows for all those great things you just did for your body to sink in. Let your breath flow easy. Let your mind remain clear. Let's take a couple of breaths here together. These will be those same breaths we practiced earlier, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Take a deep breath in. Big exhale, let it go. One more time, inhaling. Exhaling. Bringing gentle movement back to your body. And choosing to either stay here on your back or rolling to your favorite side and pausing for a couple of breaths. In this time, before we move off the mat, giving yourself a pat on the back, gratitude for how your body can move and for making it happen today, for getting on your mat. My 2025 theme is Carpe Diem, seize the day. And you all certainly did that today, showing up on your mat. All right, so we'll meet in a seated posture any way you'd like to get there. Let's take a deep breath in. As you exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Carpe Diem, ladies. Namaste.